I'd be lying to say I'm not a little bit concerned about the Lakers in the wake of this LeBron James injury. And look, they've been playing awesome basketball for a while now, but LeBron is expected to miss at least a couple weeks and potentially more with this groin strain. And it's concerning. It's very concerning. Look, this is a bad loss tonight against the Nets. I understand no LeBron, obviously also no Get Jackson Hayes, no Dorian Finney-Smith, no Rui Hachimura, multiple key rotation guys missing from this game. When you're missing 4 of your 10 main rotation guys, that makes things tough, no doubt about it. But this is still the type of game you're supposed to win against a Nets team that isn't very good. And look, they've played pretty competitive basketball despite a roster that I don't think is all that talented in Brooklyn. But at the same time, you have to win this game, especially when you have one of the hardest remaining schedules in the entire league, with which the Lakers do have. And overall, first and foremost, Luka has to be better. As one of the biggest Luka fans in the world, 8 of 26, 3 of 10 from 3 isn't going to cut it. The 3 of 10 from 3 is fine, but 8 of 26 from the field is just not good enough. That's 5 of 16 from 2-point range. You expect better from Luka, and as a whole, he still hasn't totally found his footing as a Laker. He's had some better games as of late, but he hasn't quite been the player that I think a lot of people expected him to be as a Laker. And look, I'm not saying he can't get there. Absolutely can. I mean, he's 22, 12, and 12, and that's a bad game. Like, that's a really nice place to be, but at the same time, they needed more from him tonight. They needed him to show up in a big way, and he just wasn't quite good enough. And I mean, Reeves was 3 for 14, 1 of 5 from 3. Reeves has been honestly pretty inconsistent as of late. Really need more from him as well. He certainly doesn't get a pass, but you'd like better, especially when Gabe Vincent is 8 of 12, 6 of 9 from 3, scores 24 points. Jordan Goodwin goes 5 of 6 from 3 off the bench, has 17 points. Like, when you get contributions like that from some of your role players, that's the type of game you have to win, especially against a not super high level opponent. And it's a shame that they weren't able to get the job done tonight, is kind of my biggest thing, unfortunately. So I don't know. I'm not sitting here saying that things are dire straits for the Lakers by any means, but you'd really like to win this game, no doubt about it. And look, they're the 3 seed in the West right now. They're a game back of Denver. They've played 2 less games than Denver, so if they win their next 2 games, they will be tied with Denver for that 3 seed. But you want that 3 seed if you are the Lakers. You absolutely want, you want that 2 seed if you're the Lakers, because you want home court advantage in a theoretical second round matchup against the Nuggets. That's a series. It's going to be a tough series, no doubt about it. And I think having that 2 seed would be really important. And with LeBron again expected to miss the next couple of weeks, at least with this groin strain, and then Rui's out for the rest of the road trip. Now, Rui, we'll see when he gets reevaluated and whether or not he's able to come back pretty soon. Fingers crossed he can. Dorian Finney-Smith, Jackson Hayes, doesn't sound like those injuries are significant, so I don't expect them to miss significant time by any means, but you're going to need health, and you have a lot of pretty important rotation players out right now, and that's where you're going to need Luka to step up, plain and simple, especially when the schedule is as tough as it is for the rest of the regular season. Because I mean, let's look at their schedule, man. It is Milwaukee, Denver. Phoenix isn't like a breeze game by any means. Denver again, Milwaukee again. Indiana's been playing really good basketball. Memphis, Houston, Golden State, OKC twice. A Dallas game that's going to be a huge game, and knowing Nico Harrison's, pardon my language, dumbass, he's going to want to have everybody healthy that he can for that game. I mean, he's going to try to prove a point there. I bet AD plays that game. It does the Mavs no good to try to win that game. They should be tanking for the rest of the year, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to force a bunch of guys back for that game to try to win it. Then they play Houston again. Like, it is obviously one of the toughest schedules left in the league. In fact, in the Western Conference, it is the 4th hardest, and the 4th hardest in the league in total, whereas Denver plays a bit of an easier schedule the rest of the season. Now, 2 more head-to-head games against Denver might have a massive implication on these standings. But again, with LeBron expected to miss the next 2 weeks or so, if you don't see LeBron until end of March or so, maybe Indiana, Chicago, somewhere around here, that means you got a lot of tough games, including both of those games against Denver without LeBron. And so Luka's going to have to step up big time. Austin Reeves is going to have to step up big time. You're going to need some of these role players to play well and hopefully be healthy for these matchups as well to have a chance at that 2 seed in the Western Conference. And while I'm not sitting here and acting like their season is over or it's a total catastrophe now that LeBron is hurt, I'd be lying to say it's not a concern, because home court advantage in the second round of playoffs could really matter a lot. And I think chemistry-wise, Luka and LeBron have showed a lot of good things so far, but them missing this opportunity to continue to grow and play together, especially in these big games against a lot of these contending type teams, is unfortunate come playoff time as well. So I would be lying to say I am not concerned, for sure, is basically what I will say. And the honest truth is, Luka hasn't been Luka. And the fact that 24.7 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 7.6 assists per game isn't Luka stats. It shows how high of a bar he is held to as a player, but he's turning the ball over more than you would expect, especially with a little bit lower usage and a little bit less playmaking so far in LA. His efficiency's been pretty bad, 41%, 32.5% from three. Both of those numbers will go down a bit after tonight's game as well. Certainly not quite what you'd like so far from Luka, admittedly in only 11 games before tonight and 12, including tonight. But as a whole, it's not quite what you expect. And you want to see, especially without LeBron, Luka going for 30, 10, and 10 on a night-to-night basis, and you want the efficiency to be better. And at the same time, I mean, Austin Reeves has not been all that good as of late. He's had a really good year for the most part, 19 points, almost 6 assists, 4.5 rebounds a game, but he has struggled as of late, and he's another guy you really need to step up. I mean, he's had a couple of rough games recently. I was not good against the Knicks in their last game at all, definitely struggled there, and then was not good against the Boston either, and wasn't very good obviously tonight at all against the Nets either. He's had a couple games in a row here where he certainly had some struggles, and I mean the Boston game wasn't terrible, but as a whole it's not quite what you expect and quite what you want from a guy who has been having an awesome year. And so I'm a little concerned about the Lakers' ability to truly contend and win a lot of these games in really, really tough competition without LeBron. And maybe I'll be wrong, certainly possible. Luka absolutely has the ability to turn it on and go on one of these 2-week hot streaks where he's 35, 11, and 10 and shooting 40% from three and 55% from the field. We've seen it before, and I'm sure we'll see it again. But the Lakers need that to happen now, because they got to find a way to win these games. They got to win at least one of the Denver games. They got to win some of these games against some of this top tier competition, and they have to win all of these easier matchups, because they have some relatively easier matchups coming up. Games against Phoenix, Chicago, Orlando, who struggled offensively, Chicago again, New Orleans, Portland. Like, you got to win all these gimme games, because you don't have very many gimme games left on the schedule, and losing what should have been a gimme game tonight against the Nets is a really painful loss. For sure. So I'm not writing the Lakers off in the slightest. I mean, I've been one of the biggest proponents of, I think they have a serious chance to win a title. But games like tonight are not what you want to see for a team that, again, you want to have a serious chance to win the title, right? So at the end of the day, it's you expect better and you want to see better. And it wasn't better tonight. It just wasn't. So we'll see what happens. The Lakers certainly obviously still have a good chance to make a deep run here in the playoffs and turn this season, or not turn the season around. The season has been turned around, but continue to succeed this season. But hasn't been good enough without LeBron, or wasn't good enough without LeBron, I should say, tonight. And hopefully it will be better over the next couple weeks, because it needs to be in order for them to have a serious chance at that 2 seed in the West and home court advantage in the second round in what could be an incredible series against Denver. So with that being said, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.